I really could believe it when I heard it. I was shocked, but I believed it. The fourth shooting in 3 days at the Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone. I mean, who should be surprised? They kick out all their cops, violence breaks out, and they do nothing. When the cops tried to come in to the CHAZ after the first shooting, the protesters blocked them. What do you think's going to happen when you tell violent criminals that we won't let the police in? You know what they're going to say? They say, wow, here's my chance. I can get away with whatever I want. So now community leaders in Seattle are calling for the CHAZ, to go home. 4 shootings in 3 days. But of course, no one's going to learn their lesson. I'm sorry. No one's going to learn their lesson. I just don't believe it. Maybe. Because we have another story that I really, really want to get to. A Democrat state senator in Wisconsin was beaten by protesters who tore down an anti-slavery activist statue. Now, this one breaks my heart. This guy, this colonel in the Union Army, was 33 when he died. He was an anti-slavery activist. He led the charge for the Union, and he died of his injuries. This is a man who gave everything, 33 years old, to end slavery and fight for the Union. They tore down his statue, and this Democrat got beaten and was shocked. Why would they beat me? Why would they tear down this person? Apparently, I haven't been paying attention. It has nothing to do with this. It has everything to do with them trying to seize power. They use guns against each other, of course. So maybe now the CHAZ will finally be closed. Maybe it'll finally be ended. It's been 2 weeks, and their little utopia Summer of Love block party has devolved into a ghetto. I mean, Capitol Hill of Seattle had crime because it's a densely populated urban area, of course. 4 shootings in 3 days. Let's read a little bit of this, but I really want to talk about what's going on with this Democrat who got a cold wake-up call. Perhaps it's a cold wake-up call for everybody, and perhaps it won't be enough. Because I do want to talk about this later. For those listening on the podcast, you may have already heard it, but Ocasio-Cortez won, man. They're not learning anything from this. Fox San Antonio says, Tuesday was night 15 of the Capitol Hill occupied protest, and some protesters weren't budging even after the mayor of Seattle asked for people to start clearing out. Jenny Durkin is asking community leaders to spread that message instead of using police intervention. What a pathetic and failed politician. I'm sorry, Mrs. Durkin. You had every opportunity to shut this down the first time someone got shot and killed. How many people need to be shot and killed before you say it's time to shut this down? Apparently, 4 is not enough. So people slammed the mayor, saying she failed. And she walked back her Summer of Love comment saying, it was partly in jest. And still did nothing. The community should come in and take care of everything. Yeah, okay, man. That's right. Community leaders, they'll take care of it. 4 shootings in 3 days. Congratulations. That's on you. You could have stopped it after the first person died. And the police said they weren't letting us in. And the medics couldn't get in. Well, congratulations. Early Tuesday morning, a 4th person was shot near the CHOP. The new violence comes after a 19-year-old was shot and killed Saturday. Another man was shot Saturday, is in the hospital in satisfactory condition. Sounds like he'll survive. He was critical before. A 17-year-old shot Sunday night is out of the hospital, and a man shot Tuesday morning is in satisfactory condition. Community leaders and neighbors are telling protesters to go home before somebody else gets hurt. Kelly Forsyth says gunfire woke him up Tuesday as commotion unfolded feet away from his apartment in Cal Anderson Park. I went to check the ground. There was a lot of things crushed, and there was basically 3 giant piles of really thick blood, said Forsyth. When there's blood on the streets, there needs to be some respect. That's the problem here. We got blood on our streets now, and it's happening every day, and it's not stopping, and I don't see it stopping. Hey, man, glad I don't live there. I joked about how I would cause trouble, and I'd have a good time with it if I was there, and I stand by that 100%. If these people came and surrounded my place, I would be armed and be like GTFO. Maybe if you actually had somebody willing to stand up and take control of this community, this wouldn't have happened. Let this be a sign for all of you who would sit back and say, please just leave me alone. They won't. They'll eventually come to your neighborhood. They will be armed and they'll say, it's going to be a summer of love. Just get on your knees and let us do what we want. And as these people said, oh, well, I'm going to speak to the mayor about this. What happened? 4 people get shot in 3 days. Congratulations. That's what happens when you do nothing. But you deserve it. Look, let's be real. I don't like the idea that people are getting hurt and attacked, but people reap what they sow. If you refuse to stand up for law and order, if you refuse to defend your city, your country, your state, whatever, then you deserve what happens. I wouldn't go so far as some when they say silence is consent. That to me seems very stupid. Silence is consent. You're not agreeing to it just because you're a coward, but being a coward means you're abstaining and refusing to take responsibility. In fact, there are many people who go online and complain about this, and that's the extent to which they do something. And you can point that finger at me as well, but hey man, I stood up for myself when I worked for a big company and I walked away. So to all the people who would just zip their mouths shut and say, oh, but they'll leave me alone if I just shut up. No, they won't. When have they ever done that? That's never. You're buying a lottery ticket. And you're hoping that this lottery ticket is a pass for them to walk past your house when they go on their rampage. That's what you're saying. Maybe I'll win the lottery and I'll be that one person who gets to be left alone as they surround my apartments and then go around shooting people, 4 people in 3 nights. Will you take responsibility? Will you get the locals in your neighborhood to stand up and say no to this? If the people who lived in this area, I believe they said it was like 500, all came out and blocked the roads and say, get out of our neighborhood. Could it have happened? Perhaps. Now, perhaps most of the people who lived there weren't in alignment. Maybe many of them liked what was going on. Yeah, it's unfortunate. A lot of stupid people. And now this is what you get. Congratulations to the property owners. Your buildings are now worthless because crime has skyrocketed, but maybe that's the point. Now someone can come and snatch up that cheap property as you panic and try and flee. And then in a year or 2, if things calm down, that property value is going to skyrocket. That's how they turn a profit, right? Well, apparently the wake-up call here won't be enough. They're now just calling on the protesters, please go home. Just please. I think 4 people getting shot is enough. Not enough, apparently, to actually defend your neighborhood, to call for the police, to demand action. The mayor calling on community leaders to spread a message that we don't need police intervention. Okay, dude. Yeah. Well, here's what you get. Over in Wisconsin, crowds tear down statues outside Wisconsin Capitol, including one of an anti-slavery activist, and attack a state senator. A state senator, a Democrat, who was shocked. He couldn't believe they attacked him. They don't get it, man. They really, really don't. When these revolutionaries take over, they're going to purge the Democrats first. You know why? They need full compliance. They need the party to bend for them. The Republicans can be the political opposition. They'll wipe out and they'll erase the culture. That's what's happening. They're tearing down statues. But the Democrats are the ones standing in their way. Do you understand this? They're not right now running races against Republicans. Let me make this very clear for you, Democrats. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez won yesterday. She defeated Michelle Caruso-Cabrera, the establishment-backed Democratic candidate, who got crushed. Then you had Eliot Engel, who also lost, and the progressives are cheering as they go to war with Democrats, not Republicans. They are seizing Democratic areas. They are taking the easy ground first. So that's who they must purge, and that's who must bend the knee. It's you, Democrats. The progressives want you in compliance, and there are holdouts in the Democratic Party fighting back. They must crush you. So why did they attack a Democratic state senator? Exactly that reason. They say crowds outside the Wisconsin state capitol tore down 2 statues, attacked a state senator, threw a Molotov cocktail into a government building, and unsuccessfully tried to break into the Capitol building amid protests following the arrest of a black man who shouted at restaurant customers through a megaphone while carrying a baseball bat. I actually watched the video. I think the dude's kind of funny. And I don't know how you deal with it. The guy was just megaphoning in the restaurant. It seemed really dumb, but he was wielding a baseball bat. And he was reminding everybody, I got a baseball bat. We know what that means. He is threatening them. They call the police. The police come in. Riots. Congratulations, Democrats. Good job. As you call to disband the police. Police officers inside the Capitol used pepper spray against protesters who were trying to gain entry into the historic center of state government, successfully repelling them, Madison police said. Governor Tony Evers on Wednesday said that he was prepared to activate the National Guard to protect state properties in the wake of the violence. What happened in Madison last night presented a stark contrast from the peaceful protests we have seen across our state in recent weeks, including significant damage to state property. Oh, shut up. These people, you are so pathetic. It's absolutely pathetic. The peaceful protesters who are voicing their... Shut up, man. They have been rampaging around major cities across this country, burning things to the ground and tearing down statues. And you would dare say, now is when things are finally getting bad. Yeah, okay, dude. You know what, man? Y'all have had every opportunity to defend the Constitution and the rule of law. This is the funniest thing to me. How insane is it that it is now a conservative position to simply say peaceful protest, the Constitution, these basic fundamental things, these fundamental aspects of our country are the conservative opinion? That's amazing. There's no more free speech on the left. It's bend the knee or else. It's amazing. We used to have sayings like, live free or die, or give me liberty or give me death, things like that. And now the left is dominated by bend the knee or else. And so many normies are just sitting there saying, well, as long as I keep my mouth shut, as they show up to your state capitol, burn things down. They don't get it. They don't get it, do they? They'll never stop coming. There's no point, never, ever, that they'll eventually let you live peacefully. No, that's what we have now. You see, you don't get it, right? We did for a long time have that peace, that you had your rights, live and let live. Now the violent mob is going around destroying statues of anti-slavery activists and Union soldiers. You thought they would stop with the Confederates. Do you think they'll stop with statues of Union soldiers? How long until they start going after historic buildings? Well, this building was built in the 1700s during the era of slavery. It must be torn down and built anew from the ashes. That's what's going to happen. And that includes Democrats, too. The violence in Madison on Tuesday started after Madison police arrested a protester who came into a restaurant across the street from the Capitol building with talking through a megaphone with a bat on his shoulder. Another video released by police, as many of five officers can be seen taking the man to the sidewalk and carrying him to a police squad car. Police said a group of 200 to 300 people gathered and entered a private condominium building where they surrounded a towing vehicle, forcing the driver to abandon it. The crowd broke windows in multiple buildings, threw a Molotov cocktail into the city county building, and brought down the statues on the grounds of the Capitol. And there it is, my friends. It has begun. A private condominium. They will come to your home. I know. The cowards will drop to their knees and say, maybe my condo. They burn down low-income housing. You think they're not going to burn down your building? Perhaps it's time you allow the police to do their jobs. I'm not talking about turning a blind eye to police brutality. Absolutely not. The police must be reformed and held accountable when they do things wrong. But the police also must be supported to stop this. But perhaps, dare I say, maybe there is no comfortable solution. Because the more police actually try and stop the protesters like they did, the more violent, psychotic mobs will emerge and then go on a rampage. Perhaps then the National Guard must be activated, and that is a horrifying prospect. We've come to this point. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't think there is a real solution. They say this is the pessimistic view, perhaps, but you're not going to change these people's mind. They're indoctrinated and brainwashed. They're zealous fanatics. They tore down the statue of an anti-slavery activist. That is fanaticism. They have no rhyme or reason to what they're doing. And you, these Democrats, stood back saying, well, look, they're speaking something powerful. What did Cuomo say? They're making a good point about maybe getting rid of these old bad people, blah, 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 blah. They're tearing down Union soldiers, dude. There's no rhyme or reason. It is mindless fanatics. It is a zombie horde, okay? These people need to be told you cannot break the law. Now, Trump has said that he wants, the Veterans Memorial Act, I believe, to go against these people so that they can actually be prosecuted, facing up to 10 years in prison, I believe. One of the statues toppled, decapitated and dragged into a lake a half-mile away, was Civil War Colonel Hans Christian Hague. He was an anti-slavery activist and leader of an anti-slave catcher militia in Wisconsin, who fought for the Union and died from injuries suffered during the Battle of Chickamauga. This is somebody I really, really like. A man who stood for his convictions to end slavery, upholding legitimate civil rights and equality for all peoples, and he died for it. Talk about conviction. Now that is someone that we should have a statue of. He represents everything right at a time when people around the world were saying it was stupid, it was wrong, that we would fight a civil war over this. There's still slavery today. When half the country was adamant that they were right, that they could uphold slavery, this man was not one of these holdouts who begrudgingly said the Union must stand. He is not like Thomas Jefferson in that, well, slavery was wrong, but it's defensible because it's this time that, it's the way that things were. No, I don't think at any point slavery was ever defensible, nor is it today in any of these countries. I can respect the positive things that we respect Thomas Jefferson and Washington in spite of the bad things they do. Like, is that the right way to phrase it? Maybe it's not. The point I'm trying to make is I detest and I find it horrifying and awful the founding fathers ever supported slavery. But we still recognize they did good enough things that made the world better over a long period of time. So we absolutely must condemn the bad things they did, slavery included. But we can be proud that the country they created brought about equality. Now, this man, he was everything right. He was an anti-slavery activist, anti-slavery slave catcher militia. Wow, this dude was hardcore. This guy was like, nah, it's wrong. I'm shutting that down. This is the guy they should be cheering for. Now they're decapitating him and dragging him into a lake. So what next? Everything next. The man who was in that store, who was megaphoning, was talking about Jesus needing to be, essentially taken down, saying Jesus was originally Horus, stolen from the Egyptians by white people, white supremacy, and all that stuff. That's what he was saying. And that's what comes next, man. They come into your private home and they burn it down. There is no peace. So long as the pendulum swings, there will not be peace. We need to grab it and stop it. But you have these people saying things like, it's our turn now. That's what they were saying during Occupy Wall Street. So yeah, they'll come into your private condominium and they'll surround your vehicles and they'll throw Molotov cocktails. If you think you will be safe, you're insane. And it's pathetic naivety. I love it. How many comments? So that rant I did, you may have seen it from the Timcast IRL podcast. It's apparently getting picked up now. It's going viral in a certain capacity, I guess. I'm seeing people clip it and post it everywhere. And boy, do I love that reaction when they say, it's a lot easier for him to say, I have a family, blah, blah. Yeah, I get it. I'll bring it up. I know I brought it up in the last video, but I'll bring it up again, man. I don't care, dude. They're going to show up and they're going to go into your private, condo building and they're going to burn it down. Good luck having a place for your kids to live then. But was it worth it bending your knees as they smacked you around and beat the crap out of you? So let's see. I want to get to the point where they talk about, here we go. They say late Tuesday, Democratic State Senator Tim Carpenter was assaulted after taking a cell phone video of protesters. Carpenter posted a video he was recording before being assaulted. Punched, kicked in the head, neck, ribs, Carpenter tweeted. Maybe concussion, socked in the left eye is a little blurry. Sore neck and ribs. 8 to 10 people attacked me. Innocent people are going to get killed. Capitol locked. Stuck in office. Stop violence now, please. I feel bad for the guy. I really do. But it's funny because, where are the Democrats to condemn any of this? Oh, now they're coming around because they're beating you up. I know people have said similar things to me. They tried framing my rant as, Tim gets, a flag on his video, and now he's coming out and speaking out about this. You know what, man? Have you watched any of my videos where I've talked about this over and over and over again? Tim's off the fence now. What? I've complained about the censorship nonstop for years. Are you kidding me? Look, I didn't present a beautiful picture of the future. I said if Trump wins, the left goes nuts and everything falls apart. And if the left wins, the left goes nuts and everything falls apart. I don't know what the solution is because even these Democrats are being like, I can't believe that they've locked me in my office and beat me up. Okay, dude. Well, if you paid attention a long time ago, maybe it wouldn't have happened. But this is the point. Even the Democrats who have praised them, if they saw Cuomo on the street, Andrew Cuomo, man, they would go nuts on this guy. And that's truly terrifying. They have every chance to speak up and shut it down. They have every chance to join the Republicans and just say, look, while we can have a conversation about these statues, this has got to stop. Nope. Andrew Cuomo was like, well, I think they're saying something. We should. Yeah, okay, dude. They want to tear down a statue of Lincoln that was paid for by freed slaves. Are you insane? They're tearing down the dude who died fighting to end slavery at 33 years old. They don't care about the Civil War. They don't care about racism. They just want to beat you up and burn it to the ground. So let me just tell you something, man. as this all starts to get worse. It's only a matter of time. As you sit in your house, sipping on that sweet can of pop you just cracked open, like, well, it's nowhere near me. I'm going to be fine. Yeah. Then they show up to your private condo in Madison, which I believe is a Republican city. I could be wrong. And they rampage around. Now, they didn't burn the condo to the ground, but how long until that happens? In New York, there's a video going viral of a dude who took some kind of professional grade firework and threw it through the window of someone's house. How long? They burned down low-income housing that was being built. How long until someone burns your house down? You're going to be sitting in your house, and then you're going to hear the helicopter noise. Then you're going to hear the sirens, and you go, whoa, what's going on? I'm not me. I agree with the protesters. You see the video of those two college guys? They're in their dorm, and they see the protest, and they're like, yeah, and their thumbs up, and then the rocks fly through their windows, and they go, but we're on your side. It'll be too late. So I have no confidence in these people who are sitting around cheering as it all burns down around them, linking arms and protecting the looters and rioters. And then eventually they turn on you and they beat the crap out of you. Okay, man. Look, I'm assuming the people who are watching this, you get it, right? The people who aren't watching it are the people who aren't going to figure it out. It'll be too late for them. I got some really, really dire, dangerous, and freakish predictions for the future that I usually don't talk about, but I'm really, I'll just say it. To put it lightly, as racial identity groups form, and we hear now that I guess there's like I'm not sure the full details. The founder of BET wants an all-black political party, things like this. Do you realize what happens next when you start having identity groups form? Do you think there will never be a white identity group? They've already tried, and of course they will. These people don't understand what they're cheering for and what happens and what side they will find themselves on when it comes down to racial issues. These people are absolutely insane. The best thing we can hope for is the rule of law, civil rights, equality. Maybe it's too late. I got to say, man, when you watch a Democrat get pummeled and beaten and they tear down statues of Union soldiers, maybe it's too late. Or maybe this is the hard wake-up call Democrats may need. I don't think it's enough because they're not paying attention to the news. And the media just feeds them garbage. So what happens in the end? They're going to sit around, thumbs up their bum, just being like, well, not me, I'm on your side. And then they're going to show up with a Molotov and they're going to throw it through your window. And you're going to be like, but I was on your side the whole time. Obama called it a circular firing squad. Call it whatever you want, but it's coming for you. I'll say this, something I brought up in several videos, but you really got to watch the movie The Patriot with Mel Gibson. And I will end with this point. In the beginning of the movie, they are in, I believe it's South Carolina, I could be wrong, but they're having a convention to determine whether or not they will join the Revolutionary War. And the main character, played by Mel Gibson, says he will not vote in support of sending military aid to the revolution. And then when they decide, he said something like, mark my words, this battle will not be fought on the frontier in some far-off battlefield. It'll be fought in your homes. Your children will see it with their own eyes. That's what you can expect. This isn't something that goes away. When people are running around destroying everything and burning things to the ground, it's only a matter of time until they're doing it in front of your home. Now, I know conservatives in the countryside are saying, I'd like to see it happen. Maybe. They'll go to the suburbs. They've already gone to several suburbs. But eventually you'll be like, as long as I'm on my own business, I'll be fine. And then they'll be at your house with pitchforks saying, we don't know or care. Put a sign in your window, get on your knees and beg. And when you're like, hey man, I don't have anything to do with this, we'll see how it plays out. Next segment's coming up at 4 p.m. over at timcast.net. Check it out, and I will see you all then.